Hey guys, good morning and welcome to Drive To Win. I'm Justin Bell, your host, and I'm here in the beautiful SiriusXM Studios at the Wynn Las Vegas. But this is a special episode because I'm digging deep into F1 Academy, what it involves. We're talking to someone from the F1 Academy, also someone from Tag Heuer, all about timing, no matter what level at the sport you're at, especially if you're aiming at Formula One. And then a really great guest from Red Bull talking about all the marketing activities they have on. But kicking it off in amazing style is my old contemporary. Very briefly, we raced together before he went to the moon and back. Mika Hakkinen, two-time Formula One world champion. He won about 20 races and was the only guy to take it to Michael Schumacher at the height of his career. And
it was flat out.
It was flat out.
Yeah, Justin, thank you for having me. I think we've done already this.
A couple of times you've been on the show.
I think at least 3 times.
Yeah.
You know, just remind me, did we, because we are in the same age.
Yeah.
You are 50, what, 59?
57.
Oh, 57.
Yeah.
And did we race together?
Just Vauxhall Lotus.
Exactly.
That first year, you came on the grid, and I remember going, oh, shoot. I'd never done karting. You and Alan McNeish were racing for Dragon. I did motocross.
Oh, no.
So my first...
Very difficult.
That was my 25th race after Formula Ford, and it was your 2,250th race, right?
No, that's really difficult then. If you just had a motocross experience, I tell you what, yeah.
No, you. I mean, I remember Silverstone in the rain. You had qualified badly. I was next to Alan on the front row. It was peeing with rain. Suddenly, standing start. You came around the outside, twitching sideways in your little red and white Vauxhall and pissed off into the distance. And I remember thinking to myself, I can't do that. He's going to Formula One. I'll just stick in
Justin, that was an experience, I tell you what.
Yeah.
But that was 1988, so that was a long time ago. And you know, funny things happened. You know, I was, again, very confident young man in racing and you know, like you said, red and white car and very, I thought was really professional team. And we went to test in Donington, once example. And it's a quite a special track because the testing time is very limited. You know, you can run only half an hour before the race or something. You can do the free practice only half an hour. So I sat in a car, crash helmet on, everything ready. Start the engine. I put the first gear in, the clutch in, and first gear in, and I released the clutch. And the car didn't move. I said, "What's going on here?" You know, and I tried everything, second gear, nothing, and mechanics forgot to put the clutch inside in a car.
Oh,
and I tell you, it woke me up again. It woke me up to understand what is motorsport all about. It's a full of problems. It is a fantastic sport, of course, but you constantly rely on the human performance. You know, the driver, of course, the mechanics, the engineers, designers. But that was the extreme ever. You know, forgetting to put the clutch in a car. That was a bit too much.
That was. I wish you did that more often. It would have been easier for me.
Yeah.
So. There are certain tracks. We've retired now for decades.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you feel, but there are certain tracks I go to. Obviously, you go to Spa, you're like, I want to drive. I go to Le Mans, I want to do that again. I see the streets of, I see any street course. And I mean, I had pole at Birmingham against you guys.
We never did race there.
No, I didn't. Against McNeish, I had pole at Birmingham, and then I fell off looking in my mirrors.
Oh.
But I love street circuits because of their absolute discipline it requires. Do you look at the streets of Las Vegas and go, okay, I'd give it a shot? Do you like street tracks like that?
Yesterday I did hot laps.
Oh.
With the McLaren.
Yep.
750. The top speed end of straight, we were reaching 190 miles per hour. And this track, it's very difficult. And to be honest, going to really serious in coming to this age, you know, driving in the evening, in the dark, all the lights in Las Vegas, you know, it's shocking. It's really difficult. This track is super difficult. So when I was younger, of course, I got the excitement, and I liked to race more on the street circuits then. like example Silverstone, because it's wide and a big runoff areas, and it was still fun. But street circuits, there's something more exciting. You know, you have to take a little risks all the time. You have to put yourself in an absolutely maximum. You know, every corner, every braking, turning in. It's fun to go close to barriers when you come out of the corners. You know, there's a lot of excitement.
Yeah, and you do find yourself unwinding the wheel right up against the wall. And
absolutely. But this track, Las Vegas track, is different, you know. The problem is that when you race in Monaco track, example, or Birmingham, there's corner after corner, and the track is quite narrow. Here, the straight is nearly 2 kilometers long. So what happens is when you go these twisty parts, your heart rate is going up, your blood pressure coming up, and you get really excited. Your body heats up, and then you have this long straight. Suddenly your heart rate drops, you calm down. So it's very difficult psychologically and physically to perform in this kind of track.
So you think the rhythm
is really difficult.
They're doing 229 miles an hour last year on this straight. That's a record for Formula One.
I tell you, that's super quick.
It might be broken this week. That's freaking fast.
That's really, you better keep your hands inside in a car. You know? That's
Don't wave it.
Otherwise you lose your cloth, you know.
So, I mean, by the time this show airs, they've had qualifying. It's a wide open for qualifying, right? But you know Max, and when I watch him drive, I see elements of the way you drive. It's absolute. It's without apology. It's without, it's merciless. It's relentless the way he drives. Do you think he can have a good weekend this weekend?
I think I have told you, Justin, this before in other podcasts what we've been doing together, that I'm a brand ambassador for McLaren.
Yeah, I know you are. I know you, but you've got those two guys. One of them will win the championship. But when it comes to driving on a street circuit, okay,
no. I understand, of course. The Max is ultimately a mega talented driver. He has done a great job. He can really put this machine, this Formula One car, in an absolutely amazing performance. You know, himself, and sometimes it looks like he don't have to put that kind of effort to doing that. And I feel that way he has a great communication with his engineers to build the car that way. It's probably very difficult to drive, but it's super quick. And the style of the Max of driving, he can just control the car extremely well. So he has a great car control, and the tracks like this, he is good. There's no question about it.
Talk quickly about being on brand. Lando has found a place for his mind, never his driving. That was not the problem. His execution, his mindset. You recognize the marks of a champion. You get into a champion's mindset. He's there right now.
He is right there now. And the whole beginning of the season, if you look at the Oscar, you look at Lando, you look in how close they've been on lap times all the time. And Oscar has been a bit more consistent. Lando has been doing mistakes because Lando is looking for absolutely maximum coming out of the corners. And what happens then when you do that? Mistakes happen.
Yeah.
And I think he has now come one step down, and the pressure, it's all about who can handle the pressure in that situation. And the season is very demanding. It's super long. It's really tiring. The pressure coming from, of course, from yourself, from the team, from the media, from the fans, and the experience is an important factor. Lando has been now in Formula One and together with McLaren for years.
Yeah.
And Oscar is still a newcomer in a team. I would call a newcomer. So I think that makes Lando's performance now better than Oscar's. But again, we'll see what happens here. Maybe something changes. But again, if you look at the free practice, Oscar wasn't really there.
No, we'll see. But let's talk about something you're more excited about right now. And that is your daughter, Ella. You said to me at Austin, you whispered, she's going to be signed by McLaren. She's now signed by McLaren's junior program, which makes it very relative to the theme of my show, which is F1 Academy, getting the girls showcased out there. I think it's terrifying for anybody connected to the sport who's a female. You said she's like you. She's fast like you. She has the attitude and the physical strength, the mindset, your mindset, which is crazy. It's an exciting phase.
I don't know what's that a compliment.
It was a compliment. Does she ride a unicycle? No. Does she? So you see in her the right raw qualities to take it to the top.
Well, I all the time what I'm, she's still 14 years old, young girl. So she will develop in her experience of life and understanding more about motor racing. She's been doing a go-karting so far. When you step out of the go-karting, the racing is not naturally changing. You're going to bigger cars. Is she able to adapt the bigger cars from go-karting? I believe so, because she has a talent. And if you have a talent, doesn't matter which car you sit, you're always flat out, you're always quick. Is she going to able to maintain her excitement, her motivation for motor racing? So far, she's loving it. She loves motor racing. She wakes up in the morning, she starts talking about motor racing, and when she goes to bed in the evening, she talks about motor racing. So it's her passion. But funny enough, she don't really talk about that way. Yeah, I want to be like you, Dad. I want to succeed like you, Dad. She's quite selfish. she's quite selfish, and she's like, I'm the best in the world, She's very confident young lady, and I like that, because you need to have that confidence, able to make mistakes and learn from your mistakes. Because if you don't have a confidence and you make mistakes, then your performance can drop and you can lose your motivation. I think that confidence gives you the possibility that, okay, I made a mistake. What went wrong? Okay, let's fix it. Let's continue. So she has a lot of good elements. So, of course, I'm talking about my own daughter, so I'm talking a lot of nice things. But because I've been and done that, I've done the motor racing for many years. I have seen everything, more or less, in my career. So I can see what she's going through, and she has a lot of these kind of elements that what can take her really far in the motor racing. And F1 Academy, of course, it's definitely the direction where Ella is going to go in the future. And McLaren is an incredible help for her to develop, becoming a professional racing driver. But for me, it's all the time interesting to understand what after.
And
what
where
is
she
happening
go?
after.
It's just going to cost you lots of more money.
This is it, I have to go back to racing.
Well, listen, thank you so much.
I fit in a car.
Yeah, I don't know, but you do get in the cars. That's what I love about it. Well, listen, thank you for coming on the show. It's going to be, it's always great. I really love having you here. But do you know what I really can't wait for? The first time someone comes up and goes, "Are you Ella Hakkinen's dad?" I just can't wait for that, right? Then you'll make it. Hey, buddy, thank you.
Justin, thank
always
you.
Fun. Thank
you. Cheers, thank you.
And now we're going to have a very special guest who knows all about F1 Academy, Delphine Biscaye, who's competition manager for F1 Academy. She's been there since the start. She's nurturing the talents of these young girls, and she's going to give us some insight into how this weekend is running. This F1 Academy on the streets of Las Vegas for the first time is a really significant element to the weekend. And here to share more all about it is Delphine Biscaye, who's the competition manager for F1 Academy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for
having
me.
French?
Yes.
Oh, I love this.
Sorry.
My French is bad, so I won't dive off on that.
My accent is bad, but I will manage.
We both have accents. How exciting was it for you to roll into Las Vegas, set up your paddock? As Ruth said, it looks fantastic. And then watch these cars and these ladies hit the streets for the first time. It must have been a great moment.
Yeah, it's a great moment. Every time we go to a race weekend with F1, it's amazing. But Las Vegas is special, obviously. It's a night race. To have all the lights, if you've seen our paddock with the neon, it's the first time we have that big paddock first, it's huge. But all the lights, the setup, the layout of the paddock itself is really welcoming for fans and for the drivers to interact with everyone. But then going into the pit lane, when you arrive in the Las Vegas pit lane for the first time, you always, yes, exactly. You're really it's amazing.
And the reaction, obviously, from the girls racing is, they're so serious about their sport. But I know, because I was once a young driver, that the opportunity to race in front of your heroes, in front of not just them, but the fans and the teams and the people that make the decisions, and it be your last race of the year. I mean, it's coming together, isn't it?
Yeah. So when they arrive for the first time, like their first race is where you see their like excitement the most.
Mm-hmm.
But still coming to the end of the season with Singapore and now Vegas, finishing in Vegas, you can see they're little girls now. Like they're so excited. It's for all of us. Like when you come to Vegas, it's overwhelming. But then coming in the pit lane, having the F1 drivers coming and meet them in their garage also. I mean, as you say, like for a young driver to be next to Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and in the F1 paddock in Las Vegas under all the lights and the spotlights, I think it's really an experience they have nowhere else.
Nowhere else is like this. And obviously tonight we're going to crown tomorrow night we're going to crown a champion. But in a way, everybody's winning this weekend. Right? Sponsorship is so hard to get. And I know there's this amazing support system from the main F1 teams, and some of these drivers wearing the same race suits. I mean, it's symbiotic, and yet being out here in Las Vegas, being able to race for championships, when everyone was setting F1 Academy up, this must have been like a distant dream to have a weekend like this.
But not even. Like when we started in 2023, I was there. Like I was there for the first race. I set it up, the first calendar, the first teams, the first drivers, and we could not dream of being here. Like we were racing with small series, alone, most of the time, no one in the grandstand, no public, no broadcast. And then 2024 came with F1, got the support of the F1 teams, as you've said, for 10 cars. They've got the same livery and the same overall that the F1 drivers. Mm-hmm. And what's fun is that when I see an F1 session start and I see all their cars in pit lane, sometimes I'm like, oh, that's not mine. Like they look the same.
Yeah.
But we could not like hope for better really. Last year was crazy. This year is even more crazy. And finishing in Vegas is really like it's really a dream. Like I think for us as the series organizer, because we could never believe we would be there, but for the drivers having so much visibility. It's such a great opportunity, as you say, to reach like a bigger audience, to find more sponsorship. So hopefully they can continue also like going further in motorsport and not have to stop there, because having those sponsors, the backup behind them really give them an opportunity to show what they're worth, to show performance, and to find more fundings to do other series and to keep racing.
Obviously, racing is serious, but the mission statement for F1 Academy to develop young female talent, to get them ready for all the reasons you just said: profile, exposure, experience. But the journey's a long one to Formula One. So this is the first big building block. I know they've done karting, they've done so much, but your job it's a serious one, because you're holding the investment of these young people emotionally, financially, their family investment. You're holding it in your hands. So it's not just another racing series. This is a moment in time for racing that is so important for females. Talk about the weight of that and the opportunity of that.
But that's also why I came here.
Okay.
I was working in Formula E. I was team manager of a team, managing a team. And then when I was presented with that opportunity, it was a way to do something with a purpose. It was like staying in motorsport, but putting a purpose to my career and to what I was doing. We've always tried to get more women in motorsport. Already when in my previous team, I was already working with Susie Wolf. She was my team principal at the time. And we were working really hard to get more women in our team and in the paddock. But setting up F1 Academy is making it like large scale. Is having a real opportunity to bring more young women into motorsport, off and on track. We're also developing the off-track side, like trying to get more in the paddock, more mechanics, more engineers, more team manager, more senior roles, because it's most of the time they don't get senior roles. Like that's very recent. And we've really seen a turning point around 5 years ago, like it's getting better and better. And with F1 Academy, the past few years, it's really increased everywhere, the participation. So yeah, finding them in karting, first is finding them. Like it's the part is talent identification. I've got someone working with me on this. So since we've started, we're trying to build a big network, global network. So it's not just focused on Europe. We're coming here in the US, but we've got contact in Australia, in India, in Singapore, in South America, in different countries. So it's really building that network, building a database. So we always keep track of which driver is doing what, like their performance, how they progress into their championship and into single-seater, and trying to identify who are always the best 18 drivers.
Yeah.
So we get those on the grid. So that's a lot of work, a lot of discussions and communication with the ASN, the promoters, the different people who are running championships all over the world, who can also help us identify those talents. And then when we finally identify them, we get in contact. So we contact their parents or their manager or themselves sometimes. We have a call. We try to understand, okay, where they are, what's the motivation, what's their plan and their program for the coming years, and see how that could integrate with F1 Academy if we could give them a shot. So for this, we've set up a rookie test this year. So we've got our 18 drivers, well, 17 and the wild card, but we've set up one test where we got 18 other young drivers who had never participated in F1 Academy before, to give them one day with our teams and our cars on the same track as our drivers were tested the 2 previous days, to show what they can do. And so out of those 18s, the top 6 will get a seat next year.
That's incredible.
But that's also how the pressure is, because as you say, you need to make sure that you've even identified them and you found the best ones already to go to the rookie test to present to the teams and the F1 teams for them to put them on their radar, really, for them to select them afterwards. And then the one that are selected, yes, as you say, it's a big investment. It's a lot of money to race. Some families are not that wealthy, so they put everything they have into it. So to advise them as best as possible, to guide them in the selection of the programs, to prepare for F1 Academy or further, is a big part of the job. Like we would discuss with the driver and say, okay, you want to come in F1 Academy in 2026. We'll have that rookie test. You need to be ready for that because that will be your one shot to show your performance on track. Rookie test is usually in September. So the one we're discussing now are preparing for that day next year. And so we discuss with them and say, okay, what's your budget? Okay, maybe you should do like a few test days and then concentrate on racing. Those are the racing series. We know all drivers are participating already, so you can go and compare yourself with them. So that will give you a good indication of where you are, but there will also be an opportunity for you to show our teams that you exist. So like that's the kind of recommendation we would do. But that's a lot of pressure and that's a lot of work as well.
Yeah, but most importantly, what I'm taking from that is you're putting these girls on the radar, and without that, there's just no way. And someone asked me yesterday, what's the why haven't we had a female yet at the top for a long time? And it's just a numbers game.
Yes.
It's just, there's 100,000 boys and there's maybe been 1,000 girls. Now there's thousands of girls. So that's really... You
need to increase the grassroots, really. Yeah. You need to maximize the base level. So you need to get more young girl into karting, and you need to keep them. So we managed to get some from 8 to 12, but most of the time they stop when they turn between 12 and 15. So that's the transitioning to single-seater that is difficult. And with the visibility of F1 Academy and making all drivers role models for the young ones, it's coming. So like more and more are coming to F4. And the more we'll have, then the most chance we've got to find the one that will be like progressing up to F1.
Before we let you go, to talk about, obviously, I see Lewis I've seen photographs on social with him, with the girls, some of the top Formula One drivers spending their time just to give them support. Any nice stories about that? I mean, it must be amazing when a Lewis Hamilton comes in and and gives them emotional
But
words.
I think Lewis is one of the drivers that is like supporting the most.
Okay.
He was talking with Dorian a lot last year when he was still at Mercedes, and Dorian Pain is our Mercedes driver. Gave her a lot of advice, like they met a couple of times. And then now he's at Ferrari, so he met with Maya yesterday, and like he's still encouraging the Ferrari driver. But what's fun, I think, is that when Dorian got on the podium this year and won the race, Lewis came with his Ferrari jacket, but he still came to the podium, support her, congratulate her, and he stayed for Dorian's podium, which it shows that it's not just a matter of being with the team and marketing.
And contract.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's really supporting them, and he's been there since the first race we've been in F1 in Austin 2023. So he's really a big supporter.
No wonder he's universally loved, right? He's one of those guys. Obviously, Tag Heuer have played a big part in Formula One history from the 50s. And, you know, is that there's a synergy between timing and performance and design to win, and obviously their involvement in the academy. Just talk about that.
Yeah, so this year they've joined us and have a full livery. So one of our cars is a Tag Heuer livery. It's been amazing to have Tag as a partner for F1 Academy. It really brings, like, as you say, the history of motorsport with what we're trying to do, like, which is quite innovative. So it proves also their evolution and how important it's for them, the inclusion and the diversity in motorsport. And they're really involved with us. They've done a lot of activations around it. They're they're really supporting their drivers. They've been there the whole season with us in the paddock. And yeah, timing is everything. I mean, you're looking at the lap time, so that it makes sense. But everything is about timing. All the stations, like everything is timed at the minute. I think people don't realize this from the outside. It's not just the race, it's the whole day of a team. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, everything is timed every 5 minutes. So people know when they start setup, when they've got scrutineering, when they have to prepare the trolleys, so it's all about time. So I think that makes a perfect partnership.
Well, thank you so much. I'm excited. We're going to crown a new champion this weekend.
Tomorrow.
So thank you so much. Good luck, and enjoy being in Las Vegas.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Delphine. And you can see there's a lot of passion and motivation to get one of these ladies, and maybe more than one, all the way to the top steps of Formula One. Well, now, very appropriately, as you can see, we are Tag Heuer everywhere. I have George Ciz with me, who's marketing director of Tag Heuer. George, I mean, you're always such an energy and passion, but here we are in the middle of an amazing race weekend. Tag Heuer everywhere. Talk about what it's like for you.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you for having us, and thank you for all the amazing things you do for the brand. It's we really appreciate it. I mean, the relationship is so long, going back to your dad and everything. So we really appreciate this connection that we have. What can I say? Las Vegas, it's an incredible city, and it's an amazing thing that what Formula One has done over here. You know, I used to live in the US. I used to live here for 9 years. Long time ago, I left around 2004. And at that time, if I would have asked my friends about Formula One, my American friends, they would be like, Formula what? You know, like it really wasn't ingrained with all the amazing American sports. It was difficult for some of the sports to come through, you know. But what they have done in the last few years, since Liberty Media has taken over, and they're having this vision to come to Las Vegas and turn this into the most amazing sports entertainment 3 days you can imagine. It's quite special, and obviously for us as a brand that is so deeply rooted in Formula One. You know, I mean, you know it, but maybe for the sake of the listeners and viewers, it's you know, Tag Heuer has been in the sport since the 60s. You know, it was the baby of Tag Heuer, who absolutely fell in love with the sport and brought us in. We used to sponsor McLaren in 80s, Ferrari in the 70s. You know, now we're with Red Bull Racing. In fact, we have 15 world championships. We're not a team, but we like to think like a team. You know, so there's only one team that has more, which is Ferrari. You know, they have 16. So we're really happy to be back in Formula One and to be here in Las Vegas for the first time, to be part of this amazing racing moment in the calendar. It's really special. And what our team does is when we do something, we go all in. You know, we really go all the chips on the table, and we do it as good as we can. And so it's a full 360 activations. We have some amazing VIC clients. Some of them are here with us today. So, you know, it's an amazing opportunity to create great experiences, to show the appreciation and how much we love our best clients, and to help them feel and it's kind of take in this whole brand, what it has to offer. So we do a lot with them. We have 2 of our best boutiques in the world are here. The Forum is actually our number 1. So it's an amazing opportunity from a retail perspective. Of course, we do a full media campaign. We have some amazing OOH advertising around here. We take over the private airport as the high-end visitors come in. They get to really experience the brand. We do lots of digital stuff, and we're super proud. We're going to be sharing it later today. We have an amazing 1-minute film on the Sphere, which is really, really cool. So we're super excited about that. Yeah. So no, it's a fantastic thing. We'll be hosting a few celebrities with us as well. We always do kind of when we do our hospitality program, we have kind of 3 groups that we look at. Of course, the heart of it are our clients, our best clients that we bring. Also, the media. It's very, very important. Media is so important to any business. And we work with celebrities, influencers, who we bring them, who help us kind of spread the word about the brand. So it is a really full 360. You will see. We'll cover it incredibly well on our social media. You know, and it's a tough week. It's a tough week because at the same time, there is going on Dubai Watch Week is taking place in Dubai, where we're unveiling some really high-end novelties from our Tag Heuer lab, something really special there as well. So we are juggling lots of different things, and you know, when the sun goes down in Dubai, we come to life in Las Vegas, and that's kind of what this brand is all about. There's so much energy and so much passion, and we really love it. So we're happy to be here.
What I love about talking to you is I think of myself as a storyteller. You're a storyteller. You tell, you engage, but that is the Tag Heuer story is so relevant and important, especially now here in America. The legacy of Formula One is truly being understood by the new generation of fans. Drive to Survive fans open their eyes, and now they're hungry for more information.
Yeah.
You know, they're hungry to know where it came from. And I think that's what's so engaging about what Tag Heuer are doing. But are you noticing, are the boutiques noticing a shift from a few years ago, especially now you're involved, to Formula One and, you know, designed to win, the whole performance and timing aspect? Are you seeing response back from your consumers, as in with an appetite to be more involved?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen an amazing shift. This coming back to Formula One was a huge thing. Well, we've never left. We were here, of course, with our partners from Red Bull Racing, who we love dearly, and we're huge supporters of everything they do. We love Max, we love Laurent, and all the guys on the team, Yuki, etc. But being back in Formula One as the official timekeeper, it really elevates the status. And we ran this campaign at the start of the year. It was a mini campaign, 3 months, you know, before we launched the Design to Win, and it was called "We Are Back." And we really loved this campaign because the fans, the consumers really loved it because it really had a double meaning. Yes, we were back in Formula One, but Tag Heuer as the brand is back in full force. And we saw this shift. So we're seeing it's a very challenging environment for luxury at the moment. There was quite we live in a very uncertain times. People's disposable income is being challenged, etc. So many brands suffered with traffic to stores and stuff. Our traffic to store is double-digit growth, you know? And there is something else that we really look at very closely is the engagement of the brand, because the engagement is a perfect indicator whether there is this brand desirability. You know, brand desirability is a holy grail of luxury. You will only succeed if your brand is truly desirable, you know? And we have seen an unbelievable shift in the engagement with the brand. So to put it in perspective, we track how all the watch brands perform in terms of engagement on Instagram, you know, and in 2022, we were number 7 brand, okay? In 23, we ran this amazing celebration of 60 years anniversary of our Carrera collection. We did this amazing 5-minute comedy film with Ryan Gosling for it. We jumped to number 3, you know? We were stepping things up last year and we finished number 2, but we were still kind of half half of our of Rolex. You know, we were, and this year we are number one.
Wow.
It was really has been an amazing shift, and it really shows how people are engaged with the brand, how much they appreciated the fact that we went back to our roots, and it has a real, there is a real logic behind it, because we believe that authenticity is kind of the new currency of luxury. You know, there is so much fakeness out there. So many marketing guys like me can get around the table and think about bullshit stuff to sell to people, you know, and that's not what we do. We really want to be authentic. We really want to tell stories. You know, you talk about storytelling, and that's fundamentally what this is all about. When you buy a watch, you don't buy it just for telling the time, you know, you buy it for how it makes you feel something. And when there is a great story, that feeling gets much deeper, you know? And so we really tried very hard that every time we come up with a new story, new watch, we really have a great story behind it. We have an amazing heritage director who really digs deep into the archives. He works with the creative teams, gives them the inspiration, and then the creative product teams take it to another level, and here we are, you know? So the storytelling is a huge part of what we do, and it's also a huge part of why Formula One is doing so well. You know, you mentioned Drive to Survive. It's super interesting because I learned, you know, I spent almost 17 years of my life in professional tennis, working for the ATP Tour, and I learned one thing from one of my mentors, is that sport is one of the most simplest business model on the planet. It's simply caring who wins or loses, you know? But in order to do that, you need to understand who is playing. You need to know these stories, and that's what F1 have done so well with Drive to Survive, because you get to understand these guys. And it's really hard in a sport like Formula One, which is not as tribal as team sports, which you are born to a Jaguars family, you're going to be a Jaguars fan. You're born to a Chicago Bulls, you're going to be a Chicago Bulls fan for life. In individual sport and Formula One, it's a team sport, but it's kind of in between a little bit. It's the drivers comes and go, teams come and go. It's a little bit different. It's harder to do. So the Drive to Survive, it allowed people to care. And what they did so well is that it was not about caring who wins, but they made you care. Why is this team fighting for the 4th? Why is this team fighting for the 8th or 9th? And all of a sudden you understand these people, you understand them as people, and you start caring. And they've done it amazingly well. And, you know, we try to do the same thing. We want people to care about our watches, care about our brand, about what we do. And we try to tell these stories, you know.
Well, you're helping to write the next chapter of the Formula One book by supporting, you know, a young girl in F1 Academy. And I mean, there's a very nice story to be told there with a very significant purpose, obviously. And I know Red Bull are behind it as well. Just quickly talk about, you know, Tag Heuer's involvement has been, Jack Heuer would probably love the fact that you're now supporting a woman to get to Formula One. I would like to talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, he loves it. We still see Jack from time to time. He's 90 now, and he's an amazing guy, you know. And we're very close with the family. In fact, his granddaughter was our intern, and she's a law student, so she was interning with our law team. So, you know, we really appreciate him. But yeah, he loves the fact we are back in his favorite sport in the world. Well, he has two. He has Formula One and skiing, so one of the two. But he you know, it's a very special moment for us. And Formula One Academy is an amazing thing, and it's an amazing thing on many different levels. First, as a father of two little girls, you know, I think it's so important to realize there is still so much that needs to be done on equality, you know, and we've done our fair share of it in tennis. You know, when I was in tennis, we were the first sport that created equal prize money for men and women. That was a huge battle to get the tournament directors and everyone around and all of that. So we really, I come from the background where we really appreciate it. So I'm really happy that we're working for this inclusion and diversity. It's super important, and we need the girls in the racing, you know. So I think it was, again, great vision that the F1 had to develop this new series, and we're very happy to support it on the kind of the bigger picture level, on the human level. But there is also a business level that's super important. You know, we are a brand that is perceived more as a male brand. You know, we have been in racing and male-dominated sports for a long time. So people perceive us as that. So it's great that we can kind of associate with this. We have seen a huge shift in terms of the following of the Formula One. You know, it used to be 90-10. Now it's 55, 45. You know, it's a big again, and it happened very quickly, and it happened because of the storytelling that engaged the ladies, the girls with the sport, you know, on different levels. Sometimes they play up on the glamour thing, sometimes the racing thing, sometimes it's the cuteness of the drivers, whatever that is, but they've done the job, and the girls are now and ladies are now engaged, so it's great. And we think there is a real opportunity for us from the business, and you will see that from us in the coming years. We're really gonna put a big focus on this. There are many brands that have put focus on the ladies segment have been very successful, and we're looking forward to pursuing this forward. So super happy to be in F1 Academy. We love to work with Susie's team, you know, and support them. Delphine was just here, you know, so we're excited, and it's just the first year, so we also learning a little bit. It takes time to learn the things, and you will see more and more from us in this area.
Well, George, it's been so fun talking to you. And I mean, talk about a successful weekend. You're on the sphere. That's the new definition of success. What more can you have? That's very cool. Thank you so much for coming on. And, you know, if you think about partnering Tag Heuer with another giant, the gorilla in the corner, and that is Red Bull Racing. And I have Julia George joining us, who is Global Director of Partnerships at Oracle Red Bull Racing. So welcome to the show, Julia.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I know it's a busy weekend, so I know that scheduling to come over to the Wynn away from the paddock, it's not easy, especially as this weekend must be like one of the most in-demand weekends you could ever do, right? With partners, sponsors, everything.
Vegas is a mental weekend. It's mental, I think, not only because it is such a busy, vibrant, like the senses, like overload. But yeah, we've got a huge amount of sponsors here. We've got a huge amount of activations. It's hard to get anywhere. We walked here through a crowd of people. It's Vegas, but we made it.
Well, I'm glad you did, because, I mean, obviously this show, we're going to ostensibly talk about F1 Academy a lot, but we can't not talk about the fact that, and I've been following this on the show, I've had so much fun with it. I loved it. You know, 6 weeks ago, everyone's going, oh, I mean, Max is, I mean, he's got 130 points. He's never going to do it unless they hit each other, and, you know, and take each other out. Boing, on cue, cars flying everywhere. You must have been going, oh my God, if I could write the story, that I would have been called a lunatic to have written this story, but it's coming, you know, it's unfolding.
It's unfolding. I think, but look, I think as well, being in an F1 team or being in any sports team, you don't give up, right? So, you know, you're chasing for the win always. And, you know, we've got such dedication. We've got a hugely, dedicated team that wants to win. And with Max, we've got an incredible driver. And so, honestly, I think anything can happen.
Until he's mathematically written out. And even then, I don't think he'll get the memo, because he just doesn't, honestly, he doesn't, it's not that he doesn't care about what any other people are feeling, because I know a lot of people that know him well, and he's a very emotional, in tune human. But when it comes to competition, you know, we talk about Oscar and Lando emotions up and down. No one ever mentions that with Max, do they? He just, and I interviewed him at the Tag Heuer boutique in Austin, and he just goes, I just want to win. I'm going to get pole and win every race. You know, it was just like, he wasn't making a bravado statement. He was just like, that's my way of approaching it.
I mean, that's Max. He's just so focused. Max, what he loves, you know, if you ask Max what he wants to do in his spare time, he sim races as well. He is just so focused on racing. If you have a look at Brazil and what happened, it was, let's be honest, it was also a team effort. We redid the car, we learned from our mistakes, but where Max got from to where he got to was just pure focus and talent. And he is incredibly focused, and you don't see him rattled. He doesn't really get rattled. He feeds back constantly to the team around, you know, the challenges, how the car setup isn't working, etc., etc. So he's really focused, but he's also very intuitive. He's in tune with what works and what doesn't. It's
funny because Design to Win on the wall back here, I asked him, I said, kind of, you were designed to win. You know, if you think about it, you got two racing parents and then your whole childhood. And he was like, yeah, I guess I was. But I mean, honestly, he is the prodigy of his environment, which fits into so many of your partnerships, I'm sure. Let's talk about Tag Heuer, your partnership there, and what you're doing in F1 Academy? Because it's all very synergistic, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I think obviously we've been with Tag Heuer now coming up 10 years as a partner. And for us, that's a long time. And the reason it's a long time, because F1 has changed a lot. Our team has changed a lot. And so to have a partner with us from, 10 years ago, and who we were as a team 10 years ago is very different to who we are now as a team. And I think the amazing thing about having Tag Heuer on board throughout that period is you go through ups and downs. You're not always going to be on top. We weren't always on top, for a long time. And, Liberty Media wasn't in ownership of Formula One. It was a very different proposition. And so having a partner like Tag Heuer, you've been with them from the very beginning of where they came on board and probably supported more of us as a team. And that's really special because you grow together and, like I say, they're with us on the ups and the downs, and it feels like a true partnership. So yes, we've had great years for the last, in terms of performance for the last 4 years, but we haven't always been like that. And I think that's really important to look at who our partners are and who stick with us through the different stages of performance, really.
And obviously, as we look for this weekend is the finale for F1 Academy, and the championship's going to be decided. It seems to be a theme, doesn't it? And seeing these young ladies out there under the lights, pulling out of the pit lane last night, it was so cool to watch. And I could see them actually, also when they had their second practice, I watched from my room, but you could see them going through the corners. I'm thinking, what a platform, what a showcase. And I know a long time ago, when I was a young driver, all you wanted was the chance for someone to see you and remember your name. And that, I mean, you've got a car in it, you're supporting a team in there, you've got a driver. Again, Tag Heuer also doing that. How important is that to the overall philosophy of Oracle Red Bull Racing?
I think there's probably two things there. For Red Bull as a brand, like, we are hugely supportive of men and women in sport. Our philosophy is giving wings to people and ideas. So that is, you can see our talent roster across not just motorsports, but we've got amazing talent. We find them when they're young and we really champion and work with them throughout their careers. And so F1 Academy for us was just such a natural fit. It's funny, F1 Academy, unanimously, all the teams actually, it's probably the first thing that all the teams unanimously have agreed on in terms of, actually, we all need to support this. So yes, from a Red Bull brand perspective, obviously hugely part of our philosophy, but as a team and supporting women in motorsports, it has to be done. Like, there was no question of do we or do we don't do it. Of course we do it. It needs to be done. And I think your point on looking at these young women in the cars, they're racing around, that they didn't have this global platform. It's been going for, 2-3 years really. And previous to that, there was not this global platform of F1 Academy. And so as a young girl, you didn't have these role models that you could look up to and go, I could be that. And it's so funny how much that has shifted, and how I hear anecdotally people and partners and people in the industry say, oh, my daughter now is so into F1 Academy. They've watched the series, and actually she now wants to go karting and, potentially wants to be a driver. And I think it has completely changed because role modeling is so important. If you don't see a like you don't think that it can be done. And so F1 Academy has really helped with that role modeling, like you said.
But so have you, so have the engineers, so have the front right tire girl on some of these cars. I mean, it's opening up this entire sport to female. I mean, I say it to boys too. I'm like, is your dad rich? I mean, are you, if not, go to college, get a great engineering degree, or go into, electronics or something and get involved in Formula One. It's not just... Max is not the only job in Formula One, right? And I think that's a big part of this as well. Exposure.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're right. There are so many jobs in the world of Formula One that people don't see. You see the drivers, you see the pit crew, you see, you know, the engineers, and you see the team principals. But behind that is a team. You know, there's a team that is doing the data crunching and looking at the strategy. And, you know, there's a team back in Milton Keynes for Oracle Rebel Racing that is not on site, but is looking at all of that data that's coming in and feeding back in terms of our strategy. So you don't see that, but you're right. There's you know, marketing jobs. There's a whole team behind in terms of legal and finance, and everything that runs a normal company also runs a race team. And you're right. What I think, again, maybe bringing it back to that female piece that you were talking about in the role modeling is, unfortunately, you don't get access. You don't see that. You don't get exposure of all of that. So yes, there are these amazing careers and jobs you can have within F1, be it a female or a male. But the great thing about F1 Academy is that you're seeing that, and it's so obvious that it's, again, young girls can think, oh, I can be that.
And our sport will forever be changed because it's a numbers game. And I at the beginning, I was saying to Delphine that there were just 100,000 young boys trying to do it, and there's only the occasional Max or Lewis or whatever. So when there's 100 times less girls trying, it's just a numbers game. And one day we're going to get that right in the bullseye. Well, I know you're obviously partnerships are your thing. We will not talk about rear wings on Formula One cars, other than the fact you like really big rear wings so you can put sponsors on them.
I love lots of space for partner branding. Give me more.
When you're looking at next year's car, you're like, okay, well, it might be smaller, but guys, do we really have to go smaller?
Yeah, does speed matter? Surely.
It doesn't really. The rise of the US market, 3 races. I mean, I kind of call it 5 races, right? You know, within a short flight, 3 North American races. The sport's on this curve upwards, which is undeniable. Just some anecdotally or data-wise, what do you see in that? I mean, what's the growth? What do you see?
I mean, growth-wise, from our partners, I would say, you know, 5 years ago, to where it is now is huge. I don't have the data on that, but what I do know in terms of the US partners as well, I would say 80% probably of our partners are US based now. If you look at 5 years ago, you're probably looking at, I don't know, 20% maybe. So the growth of the US market has been huge. You know, Formula One wasn't a well-watched or viewed sport, really. It was very niche in the US. It was very much European. It was Asia-Pacific and Latin America, and that's where it was really popular. But, of course, Drive to Survive, I feel like everyone talks about Drive to Survive. It circles back. But you have to have a platform, and you had to, and I think, again, Liberty turned Formula One from a race into entertainment. And, of course, US people love entertainment, don't they? And I think the difference as well, what Drive to Survive helped, is if you're just watching a race, all you see is someone in a helmet. You don't see that personality. You don't see who the person is. You don't really understand the rules. It's quite tricky. It's very technical, so it's very hard for a new viewer to get on board with Formula One. Whereas Drive to Survive has made it so much more simple. They can understand the storylines, the characters, and they can kind of get behind that. And I think because of that growth in the US, then you've got US brands coming in because they're now seeing the benefit from a business perspective, the viewership, the globality, and the success of the sport. So we've had a huge, huge influx of US partners.
And of course, in the end, it is about the on-track action. And like I joked, kind of half joking, the story arc is leading us into these last 3 races. This weekend is just going to be monumental. It's just so exciting. And whichever way the cards fall in Vegas, you know that Max has done what he could. The team have operated in a way that is extraordinary. And then we get to rewrite the story next year and we keep going. So I know your job's very busy. Thank you for taking the time to come and be a part of it. And my producer, Jeremiah, is so in love with Red Bull, Oracle Red Bull Racing, and Max Verstappen.
He's dancing in the background.
He's just dancing in the background right now. And do you know that blip in your merchandise sale that went up? That's him.
It's him.
So
thank you for that.
Thank you so much, and continue good luck.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, it's been an amazing show, obviously having everybody on different sides of the same story, really, as we head into the big race tonight, obviously here on the streets of Las Vegas. I can't wait to share more with you on my review show tomorrow, but thanks for joining in. Thanks to everyone for being a part of this. See you soon.